So how's everybody doing today? Today is day 2 of my 28 Vegans February video series. Each day for the month of February, I'm going to highlight some of my favorite vegans, people who have inspired me, who provide me with inspiration as I continue on my vegan journey, people who have molded and brought something positive to my journey and to my life, which I greatly appreciate, everyone that's been involved. Today, today's a little tough. We had to say goodbye to a family member today, and I really appreciate all the family support. I am fortunate enough to be a part of an incredible family and their love, and it's definitely a good feeling. It's always tough to say goodbye. It was good to see all of our family today, but it kind of made today's schedule a little hectic, and that's fine. So I kind of had to scramble a little bit to make sure I could make this happen, and I did not want to miss a day on day 2. Thankfully, my wife joined me for day 1, for those of you who may have caught that. So I really appreciate her doing so. Tonight I'm going to have a guy join us, and one of the things I talked about was that I wanted to showcase some vegan men so we can work on breaking that stereotype that vegan men are weak. Vegan men are definitely not weak. It doesn't take anything away from you being a man and being vegan. It doesn't take anything away from you being compassionate to animals because you're a man. The next guy I'm going to have on here today, Dave, is generally over the top. He's got some wonderful energy that he brings to this movement. I greatly appreciate all that he does. Dave is a ripped machine. He's a former veteran, so I appreciate all that he has done for this country. I appreciate he has served. And he shows day in and day out in his videos the stuff that he does that just because you're vegan doesn't make you weak. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you can't gain weight and gain muscle. He has shown time and time again that you're able to build muscle and show that just because you're vegan and being kind to animals doesn't make you weak. And it's funny, a lot of the times that you're working out, he shows you how to do a lot of those things. So one of the things he does, he has a video series or a page they call Vegan Shreds. So for men who are interested in losing weight, shredding pounds, gaining muscle, working on your physique, he's got a over-the-top personality that people just love, and his power is just infectious. So that's one of the reasons why I asked Dave to join us. So we got a few minutes here waiting for him to join the live feed. Hopefully he'll catch that here in just a minute. Actually, I just got a message from him, so hang on just a second. All right. He should be joining us here in just a minute. He's going to request to join the live feed, which is kind of a neat feature. I wish that other platforms had this. So yesterday when I did this with my wife, there's a feature on Instagram where you can ask to join someone's live feed. I wouldn't recommend letting strangers on because you have no idea what's going to come up, but it's a really neat tool, and it's a great way to be able to bring folks on to be part of this, which I greatly appreciate their time that they've been ready to do this. So we'll wait on Dave just a minute. Hopefully he can join us here. Let me send him a message here real quick. All right, so we'll get that sent out. We'll give Dave a minute. So I see that we have a couple people watching. 2. One of them is my wife. I really appreciate her coming outside of her shell and being a part of this yesterday. I thought she did a great interview, and I really wanted to showcase my appreciation to my wife for starting this journey for us. So without question, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I am today on numerous levels, let alone on this vegan journey. So one of the cool things about Dave is we have some friends in common. So Dave, who just joined us, he's going to send a request here in just a minute. We have some friends at Farm of the Free, Greg and Carmen Pope, and outside of Atlanta, who kind of how we got introduced. So I really appreciate that. But let me bring Dave in here and see what Dave's got to say. All right.
Hey,
Dave,
hey,
what is happening, my friend?
what's going on, man?
Man, I really appreciate you scrambling with me, scrapping with my schedule. Appreciate
No,
you getting in.
yeah, no worries, man. I understand. Life happens sometimes.
Yes, it does. So, I was telling everybody what I wanted to bring you on for is because one of the myths are that vegans are weak men. And I think you showcased that quite well that that's not true, right?
Yeah, I tried to. I tried to.
I'm going to keep my shirt on. It's cold in here. Man, I really appreciate what you bring to the movement, your energy, your positive vibes, the good nature and good intentions that you bring to the table. And I think more men need to see that you can be masculine and be vegan at the same time. Like, you were a veteran. What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Air Force.
So, some people say the Air Force gets pampered a little bit, but that's still a United States veteran. So
Yeah,
depending on what you're doing. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah, they do. The Air Force does they do kind of get a bad rap. But I was in a specialized unit. We weren't special forces, but we actually helped. Pretty much our job was we only deployed, and we were actually attached to a lot of the Army units.
Okay.
There are little pockets in the Air Force that they get their hands dirty. So we definitely
Thank
got
you.
ours dirty.
My brother-in-law just made chief in the Air Force, and he was one of the guys that had been selected to go through Ranger training, and he's competed in the best Ranger competition every year with the Army. So I'm sure they hate seeing when he comes in. Him and his crew came in second 2 years in a
Oh,
row.
that's
So
awesome.
I'm sure they hate seeing an Air Force guy coming in and taking number two. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. So, from your standpoint, you and I have some friends in common with Greg and Carmen down over at Farm of the Free.
Oh,
So,
speaking of which, hold on once. I see you're wearing your hat. Let me go get
yeah, let's go
mine.
get yours.
All right, I got mine. Yeah, I love them.
See,
They're
how about
awesome.
that? So I was
Yeah,
telling everybody when you're working out and you're doing your videos, you've always got your Farm of the Free hat on. So
yeah.
Greg and Carmen will appreciate that. So what was it that growing up for you, or as your journey began to be kind and compassionate to animals and to see that you could be vegan and still be a masculine man? What was it that helped you start that journey for yourself?
Well, it's kind of funny how things work out. But growing up, I actually, without knowing, I was compassionate towards animals. Obviously, I did eat meat at that time, and I ate dairy. But I never liked to kill even roaches. I never liked to kill roaches. I never liked to kill spiders. I always tried to catch it and release them, just because I never want to kill a living thing. So, 2 years ago, after watching, What the Hell, Cowspiracy, all of these documentaries that shed light on the cruelty that goes on with the meat and dairy industry. I think actually me and my wife, we both went vegan at the same time.
That's all.
Yeah, when we watched the documentary, I think we had watched it on like a Wednesday, and we went vegan because I did a little bit of research that Saturday, cold turkey, and
Wow.
yeah, I've been vegan ever since.
Dude, that's tough. I hear that a lot of people fail when they try to change their life completely by going cold turkey. So bravo for that. So my wife and I, we kind of took the slow road. We went vegetarian, and then that took us about a year, a little over a year. And then finally we said, you know what? We're against the cruelty and the slaughter of these incredible animals, but yet we're still contributing to that by supporting the dairy industry. So finally we made the choice, and it's just over a year ago that we celebrated our vegan anniversary. So, which was big for us, and we really enjoyed that. So we've met some incredible people on the way, and I've mentioned earlier Greg and Carmen. So how did you meet Greg and Carmen? that farm of the free?
Yeah, so I'm here in Atlanta, and I try to at least once a month. I try to be involved in the vegan community, or as my schedule allows. So I'm always on the internet googling, what ways we can help benefit, the vegan community, spread the word, and we came across Carmen and Greg's farm, and we saw that they're new. So yeah, we just like, let's go ahead and take some time out and volunteer, and do our part to try to help them grow what they're doing, because it's a beautiful thing what they're doing.
Yes, it is. So my wife and I, we were fortunate enough to be at Veg Fest in Nashville last year in April. And so one of the booths that we walked by was Greg and Carmen standing there doing their thing. And it was just one of those times when you meet someone, you really feel that you're connected to them, and I really feel their passion. I know where they're at. At that point, my wife and I had just rescued a cow out of slaughter, and so we were just really getting started in this vegan journey and being active as far as doing our part that we can in the vegan community. So I really appreciate what they're doing down there, and they're on my list of 28 vegans that are going to be on, and they're actually going to be on Monday night. So I'm looking forward to that. So I really appreciate all that they do and all the good vibes they push out. So they've got some incredible animals down there. I cannot wait to go see Cash and Waylon. So those two big boys, they're just, they're something special. So as a vegan man trying to push and encourage others to see things differently, what do you hear from guys when you're working out at the gym and they see you in all your glory, all your big muscles, all your rippedness from vegan shreds? What is it that you hear from guys in the gym that are not vegan?
They can't believe I'm vegan.
So
Yeah, I mean,
they're trying to figure out where you get your protein from.
yeah, that's and we all hear it. That's the most common thing. They ask, yeah, man, yeah, the first question they ask is, yeah, where do you get your protein from? Did you lose any muscle? Was it hard? But yeah, they can't believe it, because and I try to be transparent. And I'm very upfront in the sense that I tell people, look, I've been working out for over 15 years.
Sure.
I've been vegan for 2 years, so I did not build my body on a vegan diet.
Yep.
But I'm just coming off of what's called a bulk. So I was eating more food to gain more muscle, because I want to show people that, look, you can still maintain, the body that you had or have, if you decide to transition over, and you can still build even more. So I gained 20 pounds, and about 10 of that is muscle. So my goal was to show people that, look, you can convert, you can still keep your muscle, and you can still increase strength, because I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm also pretty strong. So yeah, I'm a big advocate of that, and I try to educate people. And one of my goals is, I would like to convert 1,000 men this year into a vegan diet.
Bravo! That is freaking awesome. I think, I said yesterday on my live feed I did with my wife, one of the jobs that I feel as a man is that I need to encourage other men to look at things differently, try a vegan diet and try new things. I grew up in Ohio. I grew up hunting. I grew up fishing, and that's how I was raised. And that's how lots of men are raised. My wife and I had the conversation that she was okay feeding chickens and beef to our family, but she wasn't okay with me continuing hunting and killing deer and bringing that into our family. So it's funny how you have these little hypocrisies that live within your own little world. And when you step outside of those comfort zones, like I've lost friends over this, and I'm okay with that, by the way. For some reason, men in particular seem more resistant to changing the way you look at certain things, especially when you're talking about something that, for some reason, I don't know where this started, the idea that eating meat is masculine. To me, those two things don't even correlate anymore. And then I've opened my eyes and I see the effects that I've had on my own body, that eating meat was actually a detriment to my body. So, I really appreciate 1,000 men. That is like
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
a
that,
great goal, brother.
yeah, I always like to shoot high. So even if I just convert one, I mean, that's still one more, one more addition to the vegan community. So, yeah, I'm in the process of working on a course. It's called Vegan Six Pack Abs, and I wanted to make it affordable to be in alignment with my goal to help people transition over, because that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people have issues with who want to convert is they just don't know how to do it in a healthy manner. And
Sure.
one of the things that I see is that people who have gone vegan and then kind of give the vegan diet a bad rap is because they didn't do it correctly. So I want to make sure that there is information out there, there is guidance out there to help individuals do it the right way, because um, the a few rotten apples could kind of give a bad rap to a vegan diet.
Absolutely, they do, and you're absolutely correct. There's a right way and a wrong way. One of the misconceptions, just because it's vegan doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy. I mean, technically, you want to be technical about it. I know there's a lot of brouhaha about Oreos. In the States, they don't have palm oil, but in the UK, they do have palm oil in them. So some people say Oreos aren't vegan. But, you could say you're vegan and eat Oreos, but you're going to get fat. You're going to have other problems. You're going to get diabetes. So, I appreciate you approaching that you want men to do this the right way. So it sets them up for success. If they start feeling awful because they're eating the wrong foods, it's no good. They're going to say, oh, it's because of the vegan diet. No, it's because you're eating like crap. So I really appreciate that. And so, I just want to take a few minutes today, and I really appreciate you joining me. I really appreciate you and all of the work that you do for men and for the vegan movement. And, I just wanted to highlight some men so other men out there can see that, man, I tell you what, maybe I could do this. And dude, with the beard, the hat, the muscles, like, come on, guys, we got to get on board here. Is there anything you want to give a shout out to? Anything else you want to share that you feel is important for tonight?
Yeah, well, first, I love what you're doing with your platform. So I think, definitely give yourself a round of applause, pat yourself in the back. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing. And especially trying to build that camaraderie for men and bring that awareness. So that is a wonderful thing. And that's why, even though it was short minute, I had to come on here and show my support, because what you're doing is a wonderful thing for our community. So, and I also like how your approach, they are, and for lack of better terms, and I hate to say, but there's a lot of ethical a-holes out there,
Yes.
and yeah, so by kind of taking a different approach and understanding both sides, because we did eat meat before, and just because we switched over to this lifestyle, it does not make us better. And I want to be also an advocate of that I understand both sides. And even if people don't become full-on vegans, just by reducing the amount of meat and dairy that you're eating, you are still making an awesome contribution to this community.
Absolutely. I know there are lots of people that, on both sides of the fence, that they want to get yelly and screamy.
Mm-hmm.
I think my position is I want to encourage and educate folks to try different things. I've had people at work approach me, hey, what are you eating for lunch today? And I'll show them, or I'll share it with them. And, I want people to try things. The more people try things, they're like, oh, I didn't know tofu could taste like that.
Exactly.
And so, if my job is I want to encourage folks, and that's kind of my platform, so I appreciate that. I appreciate that respect. And, hopefully we can do some good in this world, make some changes. And, it took me almost 38 years of my life to get to this point.
But
now I'm 40. I'm 40. I turned 40 in November, and I feel better today than I did when I was 30.
What's your birthday?
November 26th.
Oh, okay. You're not okay. Mine's is November 7th.
No, dude, we're pretty close. So, it's just the changes I've felt in my life. I want to lead by example and encourage by example versus encouraged by preaching and shouting. If
Correct.
I can get folks to, like you said, to at least, my goal would be to convert people to be vegan. 100%. That's my goal. But I don't want to turn everyone off that they won't even try new things and try new products and, consider cutting back on some things. To me, I'm like you. That's a win if we can get that reduction, because at some point maybe they start seeing some positive outcome and then they start making additional changes as well. So I think if you run people off just by being preachy and being judgy on every point, I think that's difficult, and a lot of people walk away from that in a hurry. So
Correct. I agree.
I really appreciate the time tonight. I appreciate all that you do, and keep it on, man. I appreciate your message and what you bring to this movement. Without a doubt, it's needed, and I think more men need to follow Vegan Shreds on Facebook and Instagram and see what you got going on, because I'm sure there are a lot of men that could benefit by what you're doing and what you're showing to the world. So appreciate all you do.
I appreciate you too. And yeah, fellas out there, listen, we can all make some vegan gains.
Attaboy. Man, you have a good Saturday night, and we'll be in touch, man.
All right, you too. Thank you so much for having me on here.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right, you too.